AskReddit by OG Wiz. If band names were literal, what would be the best worst concerts to attend? Fine Young Cannibals. They'd drive me crazy like no one else. Megadeth, a once in a lifetime opportunity. It would be a symphony of destruction. Rem would be a snoozer fest. I was thinking they'd be a dream. Rush. It'd probably be like 5 seconds. For real though, a 3-hour show didn't feel long enough. Smash Mouth. With 5-finger death punch. Blue Man Group would be the exact same lol. They could open for the Indigo Girls. I'm sure Sex Pistols would be interesting. Cupid got an upgrade this Valentine's Day. A flock of seagulls would be pretty awful tbh. Conjuring mental images of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. Everyone would have to run so far away. They couldn't get away. Tame Impala would be cool. You could go up and pet the impala. Glass animals can play with them and you get a tiny glass trinket. The Killers. Jealousy. Throws dagger at front row. Turning saints into the sea. Wields Kalashnikov. Circle jerks. Just one massive circle jerk with the audience. Counting crows would be pretty dull. 1, 2, oh I guess that's all of them. Core. Same with Imagine Dragons. Okay. I'm imagining them, now what? Jimmy Eat World would be a bad one. Guy just sat down, plunged a spoon into the dirt and started eating. He's been at it for hours. Cradle of Filth and Napalm Death would probably be up there. It's not literally a cradle of filth. Oh no, that would be horrible. Gorillas would be pretty scary. Imagine the intro to Clint Eastwood, but with ape sounds instead. UH, 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 UUUUH. I could just go to Home Depot if I wanted to see Tool. From now on, going to a Tool concert is the new code for making a Home Depot run. Most mediocre, Kansas. The concert is out in a wheat field off of I-70. I think One Direction would be pleasingly well organized with a one-way system. I don't fancy getting stuck in a hailstorm. Would an hailstorm be any better? I don't think Led Zeppelin would go down well. Oh, it would go down extremely well. Kiss would be a time. Good or bad IDK. In Swedish kiss means pee. That brings it to a whole nother level. Can't beat Nirvana. The B-52s could only play at incredibly large venues. Deleted. Can't beat Bay Naked Ladies. Worst, Anthrax. Till they open for Butthole Surfers. If you're hungry, bread, meatloaf, humble pie, and cranberries would be great. Worst, Poison, Rat, Dire Straits, Hollywood Vampires, Dr. Teeth and Amp, The Electric Mayhem. You forgot about Cake. Pee Pee Poo Poo concerts would be very stinky. But at least there's no moss. The new pornographers might get a little awkward. Okay, so who knew this camera angle worked? Well, I better write that down. Explosions in the sky would just be a fireworks show. More like explosions in my heart. Great band. The postal service suddenly becomes incredibly boring. No offense postal workers. But not exactly a thing you'd buy a ticket for. Funny enough, The Postal Service once tried to sue the Postal Service for using their name, but it all worked out in the end. Lawsuit was dropped, the Postal Service was allowed to use the Postal Service's songs in commercials, and the Postal Service would promote the Postal Service's album on their website. Everybody would be disgusted at a Papa Roach show. Oh my god, the roaches, there. At least you could get a suit hastily made at the Taylor Swift show. Well, now someone needs to open a shop called Taylor Swift. Arctic monkeys would feel like a good trip to the zoo. Just make sure you wrap up warm. Deleted. Just a bunch of kittens attending. The police would be quite unfun. Something like this happened for real. The Rolling Stones were told the police are here and flushed their drugs down the toilet, only for Sting and the rest of the band to walk in the room. https://www.lattimes.com/la-xpm-2005-may-2-1-et-quick21.html. Smashing pumpkins would be cool. You'd think that, but it was smashing as it dapper, so it's just going to be a bunch of pumpkins in top hats with monocles. Garbage would stink. Butthole surfers would be a blast. The question is, do they surf in buttholes, or with their buttholes? Panic at the Disco would be absolute fucking bedlam. Especially opening for Arcade Fire. Diarrhea Planet would be awful. This is actually a band. I want to say more, but I just can't find the words. Edit. Finally got round to having a listen and opted for Ghost with a Boner. Gave me Crazy Taxi vibes. That game had a awesome os to it back in the day. They might be giants. Wins most suspenseful. Look, your grace, responded Sancho, what you see over there aren't giants, they're windmills, and what seems to be arms are the sails that rotate the millstone when they are turned by the wind. Alice in Chains would either be disturbing or kinky. I maintain that they are hoarding the best band name in existence for themselves. A Fish concert would be a bunch of people stealing your information. Fluffhead was a man with a horrible disease. And his SSN isn't his credit card number, isn't his home addresses. I'm not the biggest fan of babies, but Infant Annihilator would probably be very not okay. Dying fetus too. I can imagine flogging Molly wouldn't be too pleasant. Only if your name is Molly. Saliva. No thanks. Click click too. The Flaming Lips would probably want to get checked out at the free clinic. Do you realize you should get that checked out? Men at work 90 minutes watching a construction site. I mean, technically Men at Work could still just be a normal Men at Work concert. Neutral Milk Hotel doesn't sound like it'd be a great time. Unless if you're like super into milk. The Red Hot Chili Peppers could go on tour with them to keep the fans from fleeing in pain. Scorpions would be pretty bad. With special guest Whitesnake. Bowling for soup. BTW, they bowl on behalf of soup, not to earn soup. Best. Bay-naked ladies. Worst. Napalm death. Most boring. Black Flag. Most confusing. Portugal. The Man. Most lucrative. Nickelback. I paid $100 for concert tickets and all I got was Nickelback. 10,000 Maniacs would be up there for worst. Imagine an early 90s double bill. It's 10,000 Maniacs and they might be giants.